So we know that in 33 AD, there is a shroud that's behind in the tomb. We must assume that that would have remained in the apostolic community. They would have kept it. Then we have a record of a transfer of an image of our Lord that took place in about the year 70 from Jerusalem to Antioch. St. Athanasius of Alexandria tells us this. Then from 70 AD until about the 6th century, we know it's in Antioch. Then there's a record in the 6th century that there is something being venerated there in Edessa called the Akariapoitos, or the image made without human hands. So that image was then transferred to Constantinople in 944. We have a direct historical record that the Emperor Constantine VII received into his collection the burial linen of Christ. From 944 until 1204, it's in that city. Now this is interesting because this historical narrative I just gave you is not, our vocabulary is limited. You know, we're not calling it the Shroud of Turin, but it's clearly a burial linen, and this is the best part of it. At every place I just said, Jerusalem, Edessa, Jerusalem, Antioch, Edessa, and Constantinople, the Shroud of Turin bears pollens from those places. Scientifically, we know the environmental journey of the shroud. There are pollens on it that place it in specific places. So, for instance, someone had it in Jerusalem because there's pollens that are unique to that area. It was in Antioch. It was at the straits going into the Dead Sea. There's a very specific pollen that places it there. So this is CSI, right? There's an environmental journey of the shroud that we can align with what we know historically.
Scientifically and historically.
Yes, which is the beautiful harmony of what we do in shroud studies is we all depend upon each other.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. What, as a historian, what has, other than that journey, what has struck you most about the shroud?
Probably it is the way I have seen it affect people. And I will say this, no one is ever left indifferent. And it doesn't matter if you're among the faithful or the unfaithful. If you're a believer or a non-believer, it leaves no one indifferent. You cannot have an encounter with this image and not ask an important question of yourself. Maybe two important questions. What does it mean and who is it? Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. One last thing, the image of our Lord that's sort of reconstructed or made from the shroud is incredible. This is like that life-size image with all sorts of markings on the body, but it purports to be how they found our Lord, or how our Lord was situated in the shroud at death. How do they know that? How can that be? Because it's a beautiful image and it's neat, but how do they know that's the way?
So the forensic body model is from information extracted from the 1976 BP8 analysis of the shroud, which is what first told us that image characteristic, that there is spatial information embedded in the linen itself. If you look at the linen, there are places where it's very dark and dense. That's because it directly contacted the body. There are places where the image is not as dense, and that's where there's a little more distance from the body. So that spatial information creates a map. And from that map, we can then extract this is the position the body had to have been in when it was wrapped in the linen.
Wow. Okay, so part of it is weird because as we're looking at the image now, you can see it. The head is sort of elevated, the legs are kind of bent and elevated a bit, the hands are down. So why is it not flat?
Because the body was in rigor mortis when the image was formed. So rigor mortis sets in a few hours after death, but it does not resolve until about 48 to 72 hours. So this image was created within a 3-day window of this man's death.
Oh, wow. So then how did the arms, presumably Jesus was on, I don't know, Jesus was on the cross and then would the arms have been in rigor mortis?
So someone, yes. So we do know that someone probably forced the arms into position where they are folded over the lower pelvis region. And we even have evidence on the shroud because of a contact blood stain on the back of the knee that someone attempted to force his legs down too. But as you can see when you look at the forensic body model, there's a flexion of the neck and the knees and the feet that clearly shows forensically rigor mortis.
The stunning effect of that just on a human level is so weird because the death would be so vivid. Not only that you see the dead body of your son or your friend or your Lord, the rigor mortis is such a harsh reality of death, and it's so
Right.
so that pain, that can totally understand why the apostles were like, no, he's dead, we've been there, done that, he's dead.
Right.
Any last thoughts you want to tell us?
Only that I do hope that if people see this and don't know much about the shroud, that they will seek out information about this.
I am pleased to announce the launch of the new LSNTV app, which can bring all of LifeSite News' top video content direct to your phone, tablet, computer, and TV so that you can bypass the censors and keep fighting with us for life, faith, family, and freedom. Don't be alone in the darkness. We've been canceled. Fight the cancellation. Download the app.